Death Proof, written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, it is an American exploitation horror slasher flick. It stars Kurt Russell as Stuntman Mike and Quentin Tarantino himself as Warren, the bartender. Now, in this movie, Quentin Tarantino establishes two sides. He splits the movie in half. Not just the movie itself and the way it looks, but the characters themselves too. And they're all women. Because Stuntman Mike is not only a stuntman, but he also moonlights as a killer. So he kills people with his car. Basically, his car is, as it says, death proof. For as long as you sit in the driver's seat, you will never die, no matter what happens to that car. So I'm going to introduce to you the characters in their respected groups. First, we have Vanessa Ferlito as Arlene, aka Butterfly. Sydney Tamia Ortier as Jungle Julia Lukai. Jordan Ladd as Shauna. Now that's one group. Now I'm going to introduce to you the other group of girls. The stunt woman of the movie herself, Zoe Bell as herself, Rosario Dawson as Abernathy, and Tracy Thomas as Kim. Now, going through the movie, we notice how things in the beginning of the movie are way different from things toward the end and even around the middle. We're introduced to a certain group of girls in the beginning of the movie, and in that part of the movie, Quentin Tarantino makes the movie look a different way. A lot of film grain and a lot of flickering to basically make it look like it was a movie that was made in the late 70s, mid 70s to late 70s. And as he's going through the movie, we're learning who the girls are, personality-wise, and you know how they are with other people. Now, when you get past the midpoint of the movie, it shows you another group of girls, but it's clear. It has no film grain, no flickering, nothing like that. So with those two type of dynamics, Quentin Tarantino is trying to tell us something between the dynamics of the two groups of girls. Which ones are stronger, which ones are smarter, you know, things like that. Now, as we keep going through the movie, we pretty much, figure out what the car can do. Now, the car is not the star of the show, but what Quentin Tarantino does is that he makes everything look a little bit more suspicious and scarier than they really are. Especially the music that he puts in, like if, there's a slow motion shot of the car creeping up on the street when somebody's standing in front of the bar just looking at it. Or if it's just parked in a random spot and then people see it, the camera slowly zooms in and the music plays again. It gets a little ridiculous with the music, but not too much so, because he's trying, like I said, he's trying to give that old 70s vibe. But that doesn't happen with the other end of the movie. So our job as the audience is trying to figure out which group of girls prevail. Alright, so now it's time for the grades. Fanboy grade for this movie, it is going to be a A-. Now, the reason why I picked the A- for Fanboy is because, once again, it's Quentin Tarantino. I love the atmosphere he puts us in with the film grain and the screen flickering and the sounds, the clothing that everyone's wearing, the cars that are in the street. Like, there are no new cars. Even though the movie does establish that that the setting of the movie is present day, everything else is still 70s type, or at least 80s type. So it gives me a great feel to watch the movie and a great appreciation for more of those type of old-fashioned slasher flicks. Now, for the justice grade, I am going to give the movie a B+. The reason why I'm giving a movie a B+ for the justice grade is because you can tell Quentin Tarantino was pointed into making this movie because of the idea of having the Grindhouse feature. This movie is part of a 2-movie set called Grindhouse. The other one is called Planet Terror, written and directed by Robert Rodriguez. So in a way, not really knowing for sure, but you could tell that Robert Rodriguez probably gave Quentin Tarantino the idea or pointed him toward the direction of saying, hey, let's make a horror slasher flick, but yours will be yours, mine will be mine. And some of the things in the movie seemed a little shoehorned in for the sake of building everything up right before climactic death scenes. But it's still effective in a way. It's just that you can feel it when you're watching it. Sadly, I am a Quentin Tarantino fan and I wouldn't want to give that grade to any of his movies. But for the justice grade, I had to be fair on that part. So that's my review on Death Proof. Hope you guys liked that and hope to see you next time. Until then, stay enthusiastic.